Well, today we have Jelaine Manrique joining us for this particular interview. So let's just basically focus on this particular segment, the human element of cybersecurity. What do you think is the core fundamental challenge of human elements that make it so hard for you to execute a proper cybersecurity strategy?
We are starting to have a significant challenge on talent because, number one, a lot of the available resources that we have currently, because there's a huge demand for cybersecurity professionals, a lot are being hired by international companies outside of the Philippines. And that increases our need for cybersecurity professionals. Second, I don't think we have adequate programs yet in the academy to be able to train more professionals on cybersecurity. Although I know our government have already started looking at embedding some new concepts in order to prepare the workforce in the future to have more cyber professionals to help address this need. There's still a challenge on awareness. A lot of people still haven't really realized that the advancement of technology would also shift the skill requirements in the future. So you need to have a holistic view of the current environment in the organization and try to be strategic in terms of acquiring the technology and implementing even process controls and even hiring the right people. So in enterprise architecture, you can adopt the framework like the TOGAF framework in order to have the business requirements as the center driver for all of these investments and implement tools, acquire tools that would not duplicate each other but would be complementing and lay it out into one architecture before even actually buying and investing on these tools. Because a lot of what happens nowadays is that most CEOs or organizations, I want to have a DLP, a data loss prevention software. I want to have firewalls and different security tools, but they haven't really analyzed how these tools and technologies will complement each other and will not duplicate, because that is really how you should be optimizing or utilizing those investments.
So I guess the way you help clients as a partner and CIO for KPMG in the Philippines is to really look at what is your business nature, and what do you need and what you don't need. And most probably you need to basically up your game in talent management or employee training, etc. Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, most of what we do for our consulting is really those.
Where do you think most of the company in Philippines stands?
Well, maybe just to answer that question, there's a recent study on Kaspersky Lab wherein they rank Philippines as the 9th to be the potentially going to be the country that will be most attacked in 2019. So that gives us an impression that most companies should really equip and prepare themselves and consider cybersecurity as part of their business strategy, right? So cybersecurity is not really just about technology. It's really a business issue. So part of investing in technology is also investing on people and try to understand how all of these components will play in achieving your business strategy. Well, number one is really on try to grow talent internally. And cybersecurity doesn't really require someone to be someone who's expert in IT, basically. And everyone has to have a certain level of knowledge when it comes to cybersecurity. So it's not really just a question of awareness now, but more of an action to reskill, which means that a lot of the personnel resources within our organization have to be reskilled to be able to help the CIO and CISO in doing a lot of these campaigns and programs in cybersecurity. So the action from the CIO there is to treat everyone in the organization as cyber professionals.
Right.
and making sure that you have a good education program to reskill them and have the necessary. The second is really on making sure that the board is also understands the value of cybersecurity, because there has been some improvements in the past years that board members now, maybe because of the mix, because some board of directors have a mix already of younger executives and senior executives, right? And it's a good approach because younger executives will have a better view of what's really happening because they've been exposed to,
Yep.
to those type of threats, right? Because a lot of the companies, even in the Philippines, are now looking into emerging technologies. May it be Internet of Things, may it be blockchain, robotic process automation, or even artificial intelligence. But what most of these startup companies or other companies fail to look at is really more looking into the cyber risks, because these new technologies, a lot of them haven't really integrated cybersecurity when it was initially designed. Yeah, it could be one of the reasons,
Yeah.
because we're the BPO hub, especially in the region, right?
Yeah.
And normally these hackers would attack where the crown jewels of an organization lies.
Yeah.
And some of those crown jewels may actually be not hosted within the organization or on-premise, but actually being hosted by a vendor, a third
Yeah.
party. And that could be a BPO, right? So, so that increases the risk for Philippines because we might be hosting a lot of those crown jewels of the organization. So you're correct. That could be one
It's
of
almost
the
like, a few
drivers.
years back, the Panama paper, they hacked the law firm instead of the
Correct.
everything else, right?
Yeah.
Jolene, thank you so much for this particular interview. Before we end, is there anything you want to cover?
That's it.
Yeah?
Thank you
All
for
right. Thank you
having
so
me here.
much.
Thanks.
Thanks.